Yo, yo. If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah, I just wanna be great.
Well, after a wild Monday night last week on the 1 mile track of New Hampshire Motor Speedway, today we get rid of the oval and trade it for a triangle. It is the tricky triangle, Pocono Raceway, the honeymoon capital of the world, as they say, and one of like 6,231 home tracks of Kevin England. We're here at Pocono as we get ready to rock and roll. It's round number 20 of the Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series from the Tricky Triangle. I am the captain as we get you ready. Of course, Kevin England does join us here in the booth. And Kevin, needless to say, this track, the words I heard, the exact words I heard from the boss just a little bit ago, Joey Jattina said this is going to be a fun race.
Sorry, but to thank that group. A lot of great people here.
Yeah, this place is a blast. So again,
very much
radio off there. These guys.
Joey's interrupting things here.
Speaking of Joey, there he was, live at 5. I was just listening into the drivers' meeting, but you know, this place, I created like a dartboard. Okay. That's the way I'll describe it. And the reason is I'm not very good at darts. And every time you throw a dart, you're trying to hit the center, and every single corner is like throwing a dart. Sometimes you hit the target, sometimes you're out of the pocket, and you need to hit all 3 darts perfectly in order to run a good lap here. It's all about building straightaway speed, and this place, drivers like this type of track because it's in the driver's hand. You're sideways, you're in the slip, just trying to get the car to come off the corner with as much speed as possible. I know the restarts here are just insane.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be insane. And you talked about the different style of tracks. We have 3 different straightaways. We have 3 different corners of banking and radiuses. You can almost say it's 3 different racetracks all in one. That's why when years ago DW said the one day, this is a roval, and that kind of broke the term out there, and you see where that went from here. But basically, long story short, this used to be the longest straightaway in all of racing, was the front stretch at Pocono. Of course, unfortunately, that is no longer the case, but it's still second. You see how long it is right there off of turn 3 down the front straightaway. You enter a 12-degree bank turn 1, which is modeled after a track. Again, I mentioned the whatever number I said it was, like 600, 300, whatever it was. Home tracks at Kevin England. The biggest one, I think, name-wise, you could say, was Old Trenton Speedway. And that's where turn 1 is shaped off of, which is an interesting track in itself. Kevin, I know you were a younger cat when Trenton Speedway was around. But what do you remember about that track and Turn 1? Where do you get kind of the comparison there?
Well, the funny thing is, about 6 days ago, I was sitting in the restaurant that is now on that property right where Turn 1 is.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know that property really well and studied it quite a bit. And I'm so frustrated that as a kid, my parents never took me to that racetrack. But, the stars of our local area, of course, haunted that place and never got to go there. But Rat's Restaurant on the grounds for Sculpture is right there where Turn 1 is, and what an amazing place to eat. And you can walk around there and just feel the nostalgia of the Indy cars and the NASCAR teams when they would roll around Turn 1. And I love to go to Pocono and stand on the inside fence of the infield with all the rowdies and just watch the field come screaming down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide and then funnel down and come through that corner. You never know whether they're going to make it through.
Yeah, we might see that tonight when it's all said and done. So qualifying is underway, but the one thing I'll say real quickly about Trenton, just look at the photos. The one thing that I would really be intrigued to see is a lap around that track with the backstretch the way it is, because it looked like you had to bend to the right a little bit in the middle of the straightaway, kind of like an inverted Chicagoland, if you will. And I found that interesting to see how you would set up a car, because you would have to obviously adjust to that. And with the way camber and everything works right now, that would be kind of tricky to do. No pun intended.
It was really strange because it also had like a weird banking to it.
Yes.
You would turn in and the track would climb up to the next corner. So it almost looked like a kidney in shape. That's the Trenton Speedway. And then you go to Indy, Turn 2.
Yep.
At this place, it's impossible. A lot of drivers look for that spot. There's a sign out on the right side of the wall, and that's where you turn in. But it's all about, do you use the apron or don't you to get through Turn 2?
I don't think you can because of how bumpy it is. It's a very bumpy corner, as you see Pedro Mojica's coming up on it right now. It's called the tunnel turn, and that's because that's where the tunnel goes through. And right about there's some bumps that can really play an issue. If you watched the qualifying this past weekend and in the actual Cup race, you saw Chase Elliott was one of them. I forget who the other driver was off the top of my head that had issues going through that tunnel turn. And it is a very tricky one at that. As Pedro comes off Turn 4, we'll see what his qualifying lap is. I'm actually reloading my timing and scoring right now for you to see. But Pedro with a pretty good lap, it looks like. P3 for the 58 car, and last night's winner, 53.92 right now, is the pole from Jose Gonzalez. Anthony Calantoni is P2 right now. Another Jersey boy up there.
Jersey, yeah.
Mojica, Van Schaik with a good qualifying run right now. Scott Simley. And, of course, qualifying is presented by the 811. No, it's below. Call before you dig is Justin Fuller on a good lap. He lines up P4 right now in the Ed Burrell machine. And let's start with David Comstock. And let's see. He's fifth gear up here. Top speed, about 195 probably down to Turn 1. Mojica jumps to P2. Calantoni to P3. I didn't hear if he shifted or not from me talking, but he probably went down to fourth gear there. Coming up the Long Pond straightaway here. That's what they call the backstretch here, which is the 6th longest straightaway in NASCAR. Into this tunnel turn. Let's see if we can see the bumps here. Right about there's where the bumps are. You see them get a little free. Very easy to do there. There's car names moving everywhere. Macklin up to 5th. Foudy. Seth Foudy up to the 8th position there. Into the Milwaukee Mile corner, or Turn 3 of this track, which a lot of people talking about being loose off. I think you're going to see that corner there stretch out a little bit and actually open up to a 2 or 3 groove corner. As Comstock crosses the line, P9, 54.14.
You can get down into the 53-second bracket. You're really hauling the mail here. 54-second is a respectable lap. Even a 55 is not terrible. But one of the things that is so different here in qualifying is you have no draft. And, of course, in the race, how you get into the corner and how fast you're carrying speed and whether there's a car in your way to take away your air. All the dynamics change when you're sitting in traffic. So here in qualifying, it's a different kind of art to make speed.
It is, and it's very tough because you could almost take it easy on your warm-up lap. Now, the one thing I was hearing about was how the cold tires were making the car kind of tight there at the beginning of the run, obviously. So you took it easy through 1 and 2, and in turn 3, you had to make the money corner so you could get down the straightaway at full speed. As qualifying is officially over, and I think the tower's calling in the pole time of Jose Gonzalez. Congratulations to him. However, for those who did not watch the broadcast last night, we're not going to talk to Jose Gonzalez. I have a surprise that we're going to talk to tonight, and he better be in chat. I'm looking for him. He is not in here. This is very disappointing. I left the job out there for somebody to get Brian Macklin in this chat. Because he said literally on the stream last night that you couldn't hear it on the stream, but I heard it in my ears. He's like, I will not. He stayed out of third, so he didn't have to talk to me on the stream. So I was going to pull him up and talk to him. But anyways, that's not the case. So, all right, warm-up going on right now. So they're just out there kind of dilly-dallying, if you will. And let's take a look at the point standings as we set up right now. Now, the Grand National Series, they have one race left going into the playoffs next week in Atlanta Motor Speedway. This series, we still got about 6, if I remember correctly. So if we're at race 20, 26, yeah, I guess it'd be 6, wouldn't it? Pedro Mojica leads by 64 over David Comstock. Chad Coleman, 82, back to battles down here at 20th, where you see Charles Van Schaik, Glenn Campbell, Joe Hudson, Tommy Ryan is there. And if Ryan is here tonight, so he's still eligible. Robert Friery and Jimmy Coleman, unfortunately, has fallen down the charts a little bit there. About 40, almost 60 points back here. So it's starting to become, it looks like a 5-horse race, maybe 6 or 7, if you count Macklin, Roth, Jatina, who's there. So a lot of horses potentially in this fight for that 20th position. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that here the next couple of weeks. And that will start here at the Pocono Raceway. All right, let's, well, since he's not here, let's talk to Jose if he's in chat. And next question, did Jose skip out on chat? Yeah, Jose's not even here either.
He's not here either.
Oh, and he's here.
Ta-da. I love the way they line the cars up here at Pocono.
Yeah, it's one of the couple tracks, the new releases they've done. Basically, let's let the starting lineup roll up here at the top of the screen. And, yeah, they roll them off from the, basically pit road sideways, if you will. You see Jose Gonzalez on the pole, Pedro Mojica, Scott Simley, Anthony Calantoni. And then Wesley Donaldson, Tommy Ryan there in row 3. So, is there an important corner here? Or is it a compromise?
I think, well, I think 3.
Yeah, I mean,
I think 3 because the longest run down the straightaway really makes a difference.
right?
And when you come off of turn 1, you can come off low, you can come off high, you could still carry a lot of speed even if you miss the corner, but you miss 3 on exit. You need to go all the way out to the wall in order to carry speed down the straightaway.
I agree with
The
that.
question is, where does the pass occur?
I think you have to use a corner to set up the pass. I think, because here's the thing, and the reason why I agree with you on the turn 3 part is because you're coming to the start-finish line at that point. Where, going to your question here, I think turn 3, you could use turn 1, I think, as your passing corner, and maybe even turn 3, and maybe use the tunnel as your setup. Because you're going to see the most mistakes, I think, made in that corner.
Well, this is going to sound dumb, but you go good through turn 3 in order to execute the pass on the tunnel. Because you're constantly trying to close in on the car and execute a pass as you come down the Long Pond straightaway and beat them in. As they race to turn 1, let's see how this goes.
I see 3 wide down to turn 1 is Jose out there by himself. Calantoni giving Mojica a push. Everybody okay so far? There is a very vicious bump in the middle of turn 1 that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Up the Long Pond straightaway for the first time. 80 laps, by the way, tonight's race, 200 miles. To make up this event, they use all iRacing weather as Mohico a power move to the outside to make that pass through the tunnel.
This is where you get a golf clap. Good boy. Good job.
I mean, back in the day, it was almost against the law to go side by side through the tunnel turn. You almost get arrested. Nowadays, it's like, hold my drink. I got this.
I don't remember who said it this week, but I think it might have been Trevor Bain talking about turn 2, the first lap when you go in there. It's the most perilous lap in all of NASCAR.
I kind of like the way that sounds.
Yeah, to go into turn 2 side by side on cold tires is fraught with peril in the real world, and it's just as bad here in the sim. But right now, what I anticipate, I'm going to say that depending on how this race goes, Chris, we could potentially be looking at a caution-free race. This type of racetrack, if they can get spread out, single file, and then race each other individually, as long as nobody gets loosey-goosey off of turn number 3 especially.
Oh, like Brian Macklin there, inside lane,
Yeah,
turn 3.
that yellow line like that, you're pushing it. Especially, it's a lot like Kansas and Iowa.
Mohica just got turned. Mohica gets turned almost into the infield here. He keeps it straight off of the wall. I just looked up and the
No, that's not a caution.
Caution is out. I just look up in a gold car sideways. What in the world just happened?
I have no idea. I had somebody do that in front of me last night. He did a complete 360 and crossed the line and no caution. So I didn't think that was going to draw a caution, but lo and behold.
Somehow Anthony Calantoni ran the fastest lap of the race doing this. All right, let's see what happened here to bring the... Oh, a little bit of net code. A little bit. Now, would they have touched? Who knows? But a simple 360 Danny Sullivan for Mohica.
Yeah. I think that was a smidge of a side draft, and unfortunately just...
Gone wrong.
Gone wrong. These two
Oh,
are...
no, they touched. There was no net code.
Yeah, no, that was a little too close for comfort. That's what I would have said. These two are known for their long run speed, the two of them. To have them come together, how many times have I seen them race together where they yaw out the field? And here, unfortunately, in the early going, he wrecked my...
Now,
I'm going to have to discuss that with him.
which is funny, I was about to say to you that last night we had our second straight complete caution-free Grand National race, which... I did the numbers, by the way. We're at 276 straight green flag laps in that series. And, of course, last week we had a million cautions, it felt like. And here we are, lap 2. We get our first caution in this car for a little whoopsie-daisies. Now, I'm pretty sure tonight if we get a caution-filled race, then we're going to need to, like, go find some kind of, like, Lucky Irish something.
Tokener.
I mean, because it's like not possible. And look who's in the lead. The Talking Giants 84 car, which he was hacking on us, by the way, last night. Because he's like, you never brought me up to the booth with the guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be awkward, wouldn't it, Anthony Calantoni?
What was that, Chris?
Yeah, about the not pulling you up to the booth with the guys last week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you had a pretty good view of that.
Chris, I was all over the button. I couldn't believe. I was telling the teammates, I'm like, oh my God, Jose just got into Pedro on the straightaway.
Yeah, it looked like just a side draft deal there. Is the car, I don't want to use the word unstable on the straightaway right now because of just the way this car is, but is there a little bit of that with the air and just the way this track is?
I haven't felt anything on the straightaways. I mean, clean air is king right now, it seems like, but I think that was just a side draft gone wrong right there.
That's pretty safe to say, man. Well, hey, Obviously, I don't know if your boys are watching. I know Justin. I think I last saw him on a Twitter with a shirt off at a beach, which kind of, I mean, I don't know Justin enough to judge, but still. Otherwise, I think they're getting ready for training camp, huh?
I think so. This is they're starting to get into the busy season here, so I think they'll pop on here eventually before the end of the race.
I might have to hack on Justin when I see it. Well, hey, best of luck there. You're in the lead. You can tell them you've led a lap at one of your what I say earlier, Kevin, 6,357 home tracks.
It's the tri-state area home track.
Yeah, there you go.
I consider this one the second home track. I consider Dover the first one.
Is Dover closer or Pocono?
Dover's like 2 hours. This is like an hour 40 maybe, but I like Dover better.
Fair enough. So, all right. Well, we'll go from there. Best of luck there in the fifth position. I'm sure it's going to be a quick yellow here with it being a big track, so you'll go green next time.
Hope so. Let's get the clean air going.
Yes, Anthony Calantoni leading here at the Pocono Raceway. Appreciate his time as per usual. Now, I think it just is for the green flag came out. Let's throw the race info up on the screen. And it's simple as that. Is we did have a lot of cars come to pit road. 80 laps, as I mentioned. We're at lap number 5, which technically the window just opened up for this to become a one-stop race for these guys. For some of these guys. So we need to watch the fuel now. 79 degrees, 53% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 2-mile-an-hour winds. That is the iRacing default weather. Basically, you can make the option to where it does not go random. You just hit a button and it puts this, which is the way it used to be for all these years, the weather for iRacing. But race number 20 on this 2.5-mile track to my English. Track temp 115 right now. As I look over, trying to
This
see.
is a bit awkward for them, right? Because nobody was anticipating such an early caution in that manner.
I mean,
now they have to have this restart again.
But that's why you race too. I mean, that's why you play the game, as they say in sports. That's why you race, because you just no race is ever the same. You could almost say it. But let's see. I'm seeing, according to the board here, 19th on down. Doug Roth. 20th down. Doug Roth, Richard Beasley, Tyler Dalton, Montesi, Gillenwater. Pretty much all the Sim500 Mafia for the most part. Kevin Stone, Joey Jattina, Ron Holyfield, Mojica came to pit road. Stenzel, Ryan, Yoakum, Benfield, and Wortman all came in for at least fuel. So that's going to be interesting. According to a couple drivers, about 38 laps is the tank. You do 38 times 2, that's 76. We're at 74 to go right now as we come to the green, so.
I'm just going to say that's pretty good math there, Chris.
You got to carry the one. Yeah, Stone and Chisel, I'll get it right sometimes. All right, Calantoni leads them to the green. Jose Gonzalez, Scott Simley, Wesley Donaldson, Justin Fuller, your top 5 as they roll down the front straightaway. They were 4 wide last time, by the way, there. And caution's right back out. They're wrecking in the back. Jeff Ryan, Randy Yoakum.
Wow.
What in the world is going on? Apparently, NASCAR's not the only one with restart issues.
These restarts are tough, I'm telling you. People miss a gear or something like that. Stenzel got turned for some reason. Randy Yoakum.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
that was bizarre. I guess the 3 was slow, and instead of using the brakes, Randy went up to see if he could shoot the gap. Misjudged it. That's what it looks like to me. Of course, we make stuff up because we're not in the car. We don't actually know, but like Randy did not want to give up the speed, which is something you do here. Teammates by the design of the car, of course.
Yeah, a couple of the 811 car. I think this is one of those things where I could see Randy maybe beating himself up here because he's probably going to wish that he just checked up with everybody. You got so many laps in this race left. I mean, maybe I'm wrong by that.
Well, and you have that conversation. You're running for 20-something, right? So there's
Right.
no game here.
I'm trying to see if I can find, because the first thing I see is right up where Montesi is. I think that's Montesi right there. I see that white car jump out of line. See if I can get it on board here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Ritter anticipates a start big time. I mean, watch this. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Let me look up ahead here at Ritter, or at Montesi, and see if he anticipates. Yeah, he anticipates too. So here's the problem you have, and this is, you mentioned this, the straightaway deal, okay? So all restarts in Sim500, there's that Geico restart zone to your left right there. So the leader can choose to go at any point unless he gets to the end of the restart zone. Let's watch here closely. So right now he can't go, he can't go. He fires off at the beginning of the restart zone. So he's gone. Problem is these other cars are anticipating the start. So, unfortunately, second caution's out on track here. Hello, Ruth Gardner, Ava Hurdle, T.S. Ritchie 1, all the Stony Benfield fans. The Stoninites, as I call them.
I was just looking to see if Jeff Ryan had any issues on his start. Coming up through the gears, it looked perfectly fine. He got up to 9,000, the red line limiter, and switched the gear smoothly into third, and he was climbing in RPMs when he got turned sideways. So I don't think there was an issue with Jeff Ryan in his takeoff. Just Randy was a little bit faster, and unfortunately when he cut out trying to get the gap, it appears that he misjudged it. But
well, I'm trying to see here for a second. I'm looking at it. It looks like it starts up at Montesi. I'm trying to see who the car is. That Dalton in front of him? It is Dalton. Let me see how he lines up here. See, you know what? Dalton checks up big time. Look, a lot of these guys were kind of hanging back.
yeah, it could be.
I mean, there's Dalton. He fires off and nobody goes. It checks up. You know what they say about checkups? The fifth car in line. That usually pays for it. Let me check up here to Nelson now. Let's go to him. Is he far back? No, he's right on the 41 car. No, you know what? I'm sorry. He had to check up. So we keep going. Let's go up now to the 41 car. EJ O'Rourke. Did he check up?
Yeah, you get that situation where you're trying to come up through the gears. You're in. Some of these guys are in the channel with the leaders, and the leader says green, 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 and they go, and everybody in the back is going to stomp on it just like they're with the leader. But the middle of the pack never gets that message. They only go by the visual in front of them. Other times, you're trying to catch up to the car in front of you. You don't really have a sense of where the start line is here. And so you want to be tight to the bumper. When they drop the green, that you hammer down in track position, even a couple feet.
Well,
matters,
I just thought about this, and I don't know how much these guys think back. But remember the old Pocono? It's funny, we just talked about the old Pocono in the other chat before the race. Remember the old Pocono when the pace car would pull off, almost immediately the green would come out. So you wonder if somebody maybe is getting a visual of that, thinking, hey, as soon as that they're seeing the pace car, they take off. So I wonder if that's kind of happening here, but instead, remember, Calantoni has the right to fire off wherever here. So let's do this. We're going to ride with Calantoni here for the restart. And he's going to come into this blue area, this Geico restart zone right here. Fires off at about the middle.
Yeah, right about 2/3 mark there.
Looks like everybody's clean and through.
You see he moved up there in that shot. He moves up to the outside fence because that's the way you want to turn in.
Yeah.
You want to be up against the fence so you can arc the car down.
3 wide down the Long Pond straightaway there. 4 wide down the straightaway. Up the middle comes... Who is that white car? Is that Kevin DeBrown? Coleman, Kelly.
That's a Jim Beam car, is it not?
Oh, now Kevin is sideways.
Holy cow, how did he say that?
He's still sideways in their stop. Cars everywhere. Parker has a scatter. 4 wide again. Well, I'm liking this drone camera more and more. Cars everywhere. We stay green.
What a crazy night here for these guys. Come on, boys.
Are we having residuals of New Hampshire here?
Well, one of the things you'll see is that if they get single filed out, it's hard to pass here. So
Yeah.
you got to get it while the getting's good. It looks calm. It looks smooth. It looks easy to drive. But trust me, when you're in that car coming up off that corner, you have such a lack of grip. The car's just sliding. You're waiting for it to connect. You want to be able to throttle down. It wobbles back and forth going down the straightaway. You come down here into this corner and this slide up into that green flag marker. Oh boy, that is one of those every corner you take your breath. Now they come down here to turn 3 and then look for where the safer barrier starts, and then they just hook a left and try to get down to the yellow line. But sometimes you miss it. Sometimes you don't brake good enough. Some of these drivers, we've not talked about this, Chris, are shifting. They'll go down to 4th in order to drive the car up.
I think you're going to be shifting in every corner probably here. Now, I do want to state this a little bit. If there's any corner on this track that you want to whoopsies in, as in like maybe overdrive it or mess up in, it's turn 3. Because that, I think eventually, as these tires wear out, you are going to see a second groove come in. And you're going to see it become tough to pass on the bottom. At that corner specifically. Like turn 1, you want to be on the bottom. Turn 2, you want to be on the bottom. Turn 3, you can kind of venture out a little bit here. Like you see right there in front of Fuller. You can see, look, there's the 26 kind of getting into the second groove. Up here,
You can run that upper groove.
I
Yep.
just saw E.J. O'Rourke gets a challenge from Seth Foudy on the top side. They bang. And now we got
Wow.
Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, part 3. What in the world? They just literally door banged each other for a whole straightaway.
It's funny because a lot of drivers talk about the side draft here and say it's not really something that's in play, but I guess if you rub against a car, you could slow them down.
Well, that just literally killed their track position for a second there, as you saw a couple cars go by here. What in the world was this about?
I don't know. They were stuck against the fence. They rode the fence all the way down.
I mean, literally, it's like O'Rourke comes up there, and they hit each other, and then just... I mean, he lost
looked
2
like
spots
that.
from it.
He's going high. I'm going to put him in a wall. I know, Cole. That's what that looked like. He's going to the outside.
And of course, that was the same spot where the whole Larson-Hamlin deal happened yesterday under caution. As Cal and Tony holding off Simley right now, leading.
Anthony talked about that clean air, and it really does help because it plants the nose when you turn it in the corner. The car cuts better, and everybody behind him, they're going to run left or right of him in order to try and get some air on the right front fender, the left front fender. What surprises me is that they're not getting a good draft on Anthony. I would expect that every lap they'll have the opportunity to pull on him and possibly get up and get alongside that quarter panel, see if they can pull him back.
Yeah, Donaldson up the 5th gear there. Turn 1 here, probably going to downshift right there to 4th. Cal and Tony slides up a little bit, opens the door for Simley, see if he can get the run off the corner. Should go back to 5th gear here. And you know what this could be, too? Kevin, to bring this up before I call you Joey for like the 15th time already. They might be using Cal and Tony kind of like in an IndyCar mode. And I say this because a lot of, especially if you're an open wheel fan, you'll know this trick. At Indianapolis, you'll see a lot of people stick the rabbit out there and say, hey, you can lead this race. We're going to save fuel behind you. I mean, these guys have not been to pit road, so they might be trying to make this a one-stop race with those 2 cautions.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, let him burn his fuel. He's definitely going to burn far more fuel being up front.
Assembly going to go for the lead. But the way they're driving, I would have to say, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Assembly sends it into turn 2. Calantoni going to hold his lane here. Oh, he gets a little free, slides up the track. How about some 3 wide Macklin and Wesley? Oh, man. And that is not the GOAT. That is the guy who runs GOAT. Charles Van Schaik. Or can we call him the GOAT, I guess?
So Scott Simley becomes our 3rd different winner. Or leader, I mean. And
I know what you mean.
I think the fact that Jose was behind him helped that situation, right? Sometimes when you're locked nose to tail, you can almost tandem in draft with these two.
So a second ago, Richard Beasley actually ran the fastest lap of the race. So look at it like that. These tires take a little bit to get up to speed, and then eventually they'll start to fall off. Kind of like a la road course mode here. So watch Josh Parker inside of Jatina for position. Bob Gillenwater making a dive inside of Foudy here. This is all the way back at the 17th position. The reason why I bring this up, Richard Beasley and these guys, a few of them pitted at that first caution in lap 4. And you go back here to Pedro Mojica, who is in 24th right now. He is the first of those that pitted at the last caution at lap 9. So these guys, Pedro's definitely in one-stop mode. I think the other guys are okay. It's the guys who did not pit. They're going to need to be able to create the distance and save enough. And as long as they can get to lap 42, if they can find 4 laps out of their car, they are set to go one stop the rest of the way. Easier said than done.
So how many times do we find a strategy gone wrong, spinning 360 on the front straightaway, parlay into some sort of opportunity? So we have to see whether or not this is going to work out for Pedro. He's had the golden horseshoe all year long.
Joey Logano. They brought it up last at the New Hampshire race, in the Cup race. 2009, he wins his first career race for Joe Gibbs, and he actually spun out in that race. But because of the rain, it all worked out where he got to the front and stayed out, won the race.
He was an unhappy camper yesterday, was he not?
Slightly. He might have been the second most unhappy. Well, let me correct myself. He might be the 75,000th unhappy person, minus the crowd and Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
As Donaldson inside of Gonzalez. Look at Van Schaik. He's got that purple people eater going to work there.
It's so tempting when you get a run and you just know it's there.
Mm-hmm. Boy, they're dancing off 3. But you see that top side where I was just talking about, how Van Schaik was able to go up to that second groove and take advantage of Donaldson getting stuck in the bottom and just went right on around him. Alan Wild, ladies and gentlemen, watching on the stream. Appreciate you, sir. Field getting strung out here a little bit.
This is what I expected to see, this type of race.
Yeah, this we're finally, after 2 little hiccups, we're like, all right, we're good now. So I saw an interesting keep knocking my cup down. GIF that came out yesterday. Of course, the Open Wheel Series, they were racing at Iowa, and NASCAR was at Pocono. And it's funny because NASCAR doesn't run at Iowa anymore, and IndyCar doesn't run at Pocono anymore. And it's kind of weird because the track was built for the opposite. For those who don't know, Pocono was built originally to be an IndyCar circuit.
They've just had some really sad stories here at this racetrack.
Yeah, no kidding. And this is actually the track, and I hate to bring this up, this is the track that brought NASCAR to the lightning delay. It was this race, I don't remember exact year, I want to say early 2000 teens. There was a race here. I remember. What's that?
I was there.
Yeah, there you go. Jeff Gordon won the race, and then about, 2 hours later, a news story breaks that a couple of fans had been struck by lightning. And I think one passed away from us. Everybody's dancing off the corner. Justin Fuller's coming to pit road. I can click on his name. There we go. 21 on pit road. This is an interesting call.
This is an interesting call because it might be one of those deals where, like a roval, like a road course, if he makes this and he has his tires, I love the accurate. There is a hump right there.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
In pit road. If you stand on the end of Pocono straightaway and look back, the actual run into turn one is a downhill. It's deceiving from the start finish line, and there in that shot you can see what it really does look like.
4 tires and fuel. That's 57 laps to go, which puts it 29 and 28 to the finish. So he is obviously doing a 2-stopper.
But if he gets a caution, he cycles to the front. He may be able to parlay that somewhere.
I mean, I could.
Some of these guys sometimes do that,
Yeah,
Chad kind of math.
me and Burrito are doing. He's thinking what I'm thinking in the chat. He said 2-stop for him. That's exactly. Look at him push up the track there from cold tires.
Cold tires are really treacherous.
So interesting. 2-tire stop. But Burrito, you think that's going to be it for everybody? You think you're going to see some more of that? But, yeah, going back to the story real quickly, a couple fans got struck by lightning. One, I believe, passed away from the lightning strike. And ever since that race, we have now the lightning delay because of, it's actually something that's been around forever. I mean, I know, I remember being a part of a cross-country team when I was a junior in high school. I decided to run cross-country because at the time I was, kind of talking to this girl, and she did it, so I thought it'd be cool to do, too. Worst mistake of my life. But we had an event have lightning delays pretty much all morning long, and end up canceling the race. That was the best decision. I was nowhere in shape to run a 3-mile race. I could barely run 3 feet.
Yeah, it's now kind of like a ubiquitous thing, even in youth sports.
From the dictionary there. Sorry. I I'm have to look up the thesaurus to get ubiquitous.
Okay.
How do you spell ubiquitous? Does that even start with a U?
Yes.
Just checking.
Shall I get to the thesaurus?
I've got it out. Present, appearing, or found everywhere.
Found everywhere. There you go. Ubiquitous. It means it happens all over the place.
The sentence here. His ubiquitous influence was felt by all the family. Anyways, alrighty. And now we know.
And now you know.
So Scott Simley leads, by the way, by 0.7 of a second over Calantoni. Charles Van Schaik is up to 3rd. Jose Gonzalez 4th. Wesley Donaldson 5th. For those who had that as your top 5 after 25 laps, raise your hand. Newman?
Bueller.
Bueller, right? Oh, man.
Jaquan. Is there a Jaquan here?
Brian Macklin all the way down the inside wall there. Must have got loose off turn 3. So turn 3 looks like being the old Calamity Corner right now. Almost claiming a lot of victims here. As we're 27 laps in, and let's take an opportunity. We'll step away here for a quick second and hear a word from our sponsors. You're watching the NC811.org Cup Series, Sim500 from Pocono on the Captain to Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here, and I don't know what is going on. Are we about to go 4 wide off turn 1? Yikes. But somebody, I think, has thrown a banana peel out in turn 3 somewhere. Because everybody is like it's almost like a super speedway race, getting loose off the corner and then straight for the infield. I've seen at least 4 to 5 cars doing it every lap. As we stay green here, 28 laps in, we welcome you back to the Pocono Raceway in what has been a wild night again.
Yeah, this mess here right in front of Seth Fowdy, who joins his first race this year, as far as I know. This group right in front of him just will not let it go. You got Montesi, Dalton, Roth, Jatina, and Gillenwater, all Sim500 posse folks. And Joe Hudson out in front of that charge, and they're chasing Pedro. So you got the entire Sim500 Mafia guys trying to gang up on Pedro there, all 4 around that 15th position.
Are they chasing Pedro here, or are they letting Pedro be the rabbit?
Yeah, I mean, I would put Pedro out front
and let him go right and just follow.
Yeah, I got a toolbar connected right to it. Looking through the complexity of this field, you see just a couple different things. So David Comstock, you were talking about how loose they are. Out of turn number 4, that car just did not set.
Oh, you just pulled a Dale Jr.
And he got passed by Chad Coleman as a result of it. So these guys, they're starting to slip and slide.
You just pulled a Dale Jr.
What was that?
You called it turn 4.
Turn 4, out of turn 4.
He did it like 100 times over the weekend. He called it turn 4 Pocono.
Turn 4 ever.
Yes. So
that's kind
of, yeah, that was cool if they did that. So Simile leads by 1 second over Charles Van Schaik, who runs P2. Wesley Donaldson is 3rd. Jose Gonzalez, Mike Kelly now up to the 5th position. Richard Beasley, the first of those who have pitted. And I say this because he pitted at lap 4. Excuse me. He is currently in the 9th position. Mojica, the first of those who pitted at lap 9, is P15. So a lot of different things shaping up here. And of course, the only car that has pitted so far is Justin Fuller. He's in the 34th position. Here's Justin back here in the Ed Burrell 21 car. And he is by far the fastest car on the track. He's about a half second faster than everybody. Out here running by himself, and everybody else is in the draft, so they've actually got a little bit of help. And Fuller's out here just logging laps. 54.46 this time by. So easily a half second faster, as I mentioned. And you see the leaders back there behind him. So he stayed on the lead lap, which is key number 1. What he needs this race to do is he gets a little free off turn 1. I guess I better get the camera off him. We didn't see that.
Wow. Is it that kind of night? Do we have like the voodoo pins out every time we...
Oh, there goes somebody.
That was Macklin doing the same thing.
Now there's banana peels in 1.
Yeah, if you really try to hold the car down in 1 and pick up the throttle, it'll do that to you.
I'm curious to know what's going on.
I'm going to explain it to you. When you run...
Beasley, turn 2! Sorry, Beasley just did it.
And be done with it. When you run fast, you have to run in what I said in the beginning is the slip.
Right.
And I've never talked about it as I watch Wesley Donaldson come off of 4 in the slip and slide into the wall.
Fuller just jumped to the pit. Sorry, Kevin. Justin Fuller, it must have got worse for him. Because he is on pit road.
Getting some damage fixed. You're going to run the car in yaw. You're not running like a slot car where all 4 tires are there. You're in a 4-wheel drift.
Right.
And the car is just, you're almost looking out the right side of the windshield. If you're bad at it, you're looking out the right window. But you're sliding, and eventually the front end swings back up and it squares up with the fence. Mm-hmm. And that's how you carry the speed. Otherwise, you have to let off and let the car roll through the corner. On the long run, that may pay off, but these guys that ride in the slip, they carry more speed to the straightaway, and that's why they're faster. It takes a specific talent, but when you come off, up yellow on the speedway, every once in a while, get through the bumps, and it'll turn you sideways.
Man, this is... Justin Fuller's having a nightmare right now. Eric Arnold is the caution, it looks like. He is towed back to the pits, but Eric Arnold has brought up the third caution. I think Fuller was waiting for a caution to come out to get his advantage, but unfortunately he went to pit road and towed to his pit stall. But third caution out here, lap 33, and this is another interesting position to be in. Let's see, Arnold going through the tunnel turn, gets a little high, and that back end comes around and
Oh! Holy cow, that was a hit. That'll knock your dentures out.
Yes, they will...
He just killed the car.
I don't know how to respond to that one, but yes. Fuller just took tires there. His haircut on pit road, I just noticed. He downshifts to fourth.
Maybe he hit the wrong downshift? No, the car just broke loose on him.
So you know what I'm wondering here? I wonder... The downshifts, I think the downshifts are getting the right rear too hot.
I think he missed it. I think he missed the corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And when you get up in that light gray area, the car will get loose, and you have a decision to make. Do you keep your foot in it, try and drive it out of it, or do you let it go? And I think he kept his foot in it, and it just... Finally, when it hit, the car was pointing left.
And then having the dirty air there obviously doesn't help things either.
Now here he's running in a slip that's similar to what I was talking about. The car is just in a four-wheel slide, angled to the left, front nose pointed to the left. But he actually got into the slip because he was out of the groove. I would imagine everybody comes to pit road here.
Right. Oh, I agree 100% here. Lap 35. Problem is now you have 45 laps to go. So this whole one stopper just got changed by this caution right here. Now,
some people are loving it and some people are really mad.
You know what? Yeah, because I was starting to think that maybe somebody stay out here, but I don't think you can. So everybody on the lead lap is on pit road.
You need tires. You just can't give up that much speed. These guys and traction. Most of them are probably like, "Oh my God, thank you." So happy to have it. We saw how treacherous it is. They were running on the ragged edge, and from that standpoint.
4 tires and fuel for everybody, it looks like, and it will be Scott Simley leaving pit road first. Van Schaik, Gonzalez, Tommy Ryan, Anthony Calantoni going to be your top 5.
I was looking at some of the notes here. Simley's led, I want to say, anywhere from 14 to 18 laps, depending on the stats, so far this season. And he's led that many already in this race. Right. And he hasn't lapped since May. And so this is a great first half to the Pocono race here for Scott, for sure. And Charles Van Schaik, what a run he's having tonight.
Yeah, he's having a great run here. P2 right now for him. Let's man, I don't want to throw the jinx out to anybody here, but we've got a minute here. We might be able to talk to 2 drivers here. Let's talk with, I want to bring the Iron Man up here first, Chad Coleman. And the only reason I want to bring him up here is I want to get his feedback and maybe learn something here from him as we bring Chad up here. Chad, you get a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so the reason why I want to bring you up here is what we're watching out here on the track right now. Obviously, some great racing going on, but needless to say, it looks like there's a bunch of banana peels out in the exit of the corner. What's causing it?
If you don't take care of your car, you don't take care of the tires, it'll get loose off.
Is it just the right rear getting hot from from being down in fourth gear, or is it just a matter of just people just driving it too hard?
It's a little bit of both. Left rear is wearing more than the right, but yeah, it just you're getting loose.
Happened to you yet?
Yeah, you have to modulate the gas for a couple laps. Let it, just get through that period and not kill it while it's still new, and you'll be all right. I didn't need that caution right there. Me and Josh were rolling and making up spots, and now it's going to be hard to pass because everybody's on new tires. It got easier to pass because everybody burned their stuff up, was sliding around.
I think you and 32 other drivers said they didn't need that caution, so.
Yeah, I didn't like that caution.
Nice. All right, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, Chad Coleman there is, hey, that makes a lot of sense what he said.
Yeah.
All right, let's real quickly get him down. Where's team name? You would think I'd know where these channels are by now. There he is. Okay, let's, we're in the tunnel turn. I wanted to talk to Charles. But we're coming to the green, so it's not. So the left rear wearing more than the right.
Yep, that's pretty conventional.
Is that because the left rear is maybe sliding more, or is it more because of the maybe the grip that the left rear is getting, pushing the car off the corner?
Yeah, I think the car drives off the left rear here. It's interesting because there's, with the banking.
Could be camber too.
In turn 1, 8 degrees, relatively flat turn 2, 6 degrees in turn 3. You would think the right sides, as much speed that they drive into the corners here would be the, right sides wearing. But given how flat the tunnel turn is in turn 3, not turn 4, I think the left rear is doing a lot of work there. So.
As they're 3 wide back here, where Beasley and Calantoni down to Long Pond straightaway here. More 3 wide back at about Wesley Donaldson mid-pack. Tommy Ryan trying to poke out for the lead. A.J. O'Rourke there also with him.
You always have that decision going down that straightaway. Do I pull out or do I just stay put? Boy, they're
really stacked up now.
This is not going to work. 3 wide, out of turn 4, on cold tires. And
there goes O'Rourke into the wall.
It was inevitable.
Caution comes out. I think only 2 cars may be involved in this. I think Calantoni got a piece of O'Rourke.
That is a blessing of the width of this racetrack. Imagine, as you look at that shot from the straightaway, typical racetracks are 2.5 lanes. So this place is 5 or 6 lanes. So if there is trouble, you can drive paramount to where the infield is on most racetracks here to get away from it.
I hope our good friends from Talking Giants versus the World are not watching right now, because we know who their favorite driver to watch is. All right, so let's go look at this here. It didn't actually show anyone crashing, but we know who it is. So let's see. O'Rourke gets loose, does the old tail wag, overcorrects it into the outside wall. And unfortunately, there, Calantoni gets into the back of him. And everybody scatters. And I do not see anything else happening as of right now. And then O'Rourke guns it and try...
Look at it.
What a job by everybody.
What a shot that is. I mean, what other racetrack would you see something like that? It's just unheard of. They're 10 wide almost. It's crazy.
Thank you, TrackCams22.com. Check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums, TrackCams22.com. I say that in my sleep, by the way. All right, so here's an interesting strategy call. Charles Van Schaik is coming to pit road and giving up track position, and a lot of guys towards the back. Look what lap number we're at, 40. I think this is these guys saying, you know what, I'm pitting, and you ain't seeing me come back unless the caution comes out.
Yeah, you're going to take tires if you got them. You might as well, right?
I'm not even taking tires here. I'm going fuel only. Get the track position here.
If I have to run the rest of this race, I'm DW. I want tires.
Dale, I ain't leaving until you give them to me. Well, I mean, because you only ran 3/4 of a lap, right? Or well, 9/10
That's
of a lap.
true. If you did just change them, yeah, that's a fair point, right? But I'd still want them. If I drove around on the apron, I'd want tires on it back.
Well, I can understand if it was Darlington.
Track position here is so hard to come by, though. So,
Well, this gives us a chance to. Well, this is going to be awkward now because he's in the back now. Let's talk to Chucky. And I hope he don't kill us for doing this. Mr. Van Schaik, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
We were going to talk to you before the caution, or before the end of last caution, but we ran out of time. Of course, you were running second at that point. Caution comes out here. First things first, how's the car feeling, man? The run up there in second's got to be feeling pretty good tonight.
Yeah, it feels good. Able to run it high in 3, get a good runoff, and tunnel turn. I'm able to back it off a little bit more than everyone else, and then just full throttle it. I'm making probably a 10th or 2 up there. Turn 1's iffy, but so I think it's iffy for everyone, depending on their exit out of 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like turn 3 is the corner where you can make up some time, and that's exactly what you're doing there. So let's talk strategy here. Are you telling your pit crew to pretty much go get lunch?
Yeah, that's that last restart there. Just I'm not very good at restarts, and if it gets wild with the cautions, I'm gonna lose 4 or 5 spots on a restart. So might as well go for the strategy where I don't need a caution, and I should be good for the end of the race if it stays green.
So one other thing real quickly, let's talk about, I know Thursday night, Joey's talked about it a lot, and I know obviously you guys, you're the guy that runs GOAT, which is a series that, you know, is on your hood there of your car, and of course you guys partner with Sim500, but you're going to be starting up a series that pretty much is a carbon copy of this series that people can run Thursday nights.
Yeah, it's we move usually our next gen's on Saturday night. We moved it to Thursday night, and then we're gonna pick up the remainder of this schedule of this league here. So whatever they run on the Monday, the previous Thursday, we're gonna run just to give a little bit extra time, practice time, race time, getting familiar with people. But yeah, it's a $10 entry, 100 to the cash prize to the champion. Schedule's posted.
There you go. Well, hey, we appreciate what you do. Obviously, man, it's good to talk to you, and good to see you running well. I know you're going to be saving some fuel here, and looking forward to see if this works out for you.
I sure hope so. Thanks.
All right, buddy.
before we let him go, I know we're getting ready. I was on your website looking at all your diecasts and stuff. A lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's my collection, and then the new stuff is actually the stuff through wholesale, but
Yeah, I just loved the different variety and other things that you had going on there, and nice design, easy to navigate. Just thought I'd say hello.
Good luck, Chuck.
And say, nice work.
appreciate it. Thank you.
As we come to the green flag, Scott Simley, Jose Gonzalez, 39 laps to go. Does this become an economy run? Everybody up through the gears. There goes Doy Woods jumping out.
I think it's a track position grab right now. Look out. I
Kevin DeBrown!
Where did he go?
He's
even
still
on
trying to catch it. Oh, more contact. Ritter into the wall. He's spinning.
No, that's got to be.
No, these stay straight.
Holy cow.
Everybody stayed straight. Good grief.
Lieutenant Beasley got loose through the tunnel turn. Pedro took a little evasive action there.
And now we're 3 wide for the lead.
Wow, how is this going to end?
Simley on the top, Jose in the middle, Parker at the bottom. Tommy Ryan's like, I just want to get through here.
It's all about who's pushing you at this point.
Kevin DeBrown on pit road must have broke a toe link or something. Outside of traction. So Jose Gonzalez to the lead as I think Roth just crushed the outside wall. No, he didn't because he didn't lose momentum. Simley trying to side draft back outside lane.
can get to that quarter panel, he might be able to pull him back. He needs a little help from behind.
All right, Steve Ritter on pit road now, too.
Yeah, both of them had contact, and they're going to have significant damage by the hits they took.
Interesting. Kevin only on pit road for 4 seconds. So I don't know what that is. Maybe a top off on fuel or something, or I mean that's the quickest toe link or whatever I've seen fixed in my life. You got the Italian pit crew from Cars.
Yeah.
Heat stop.
Jose Gonzalez becomes our 4th different leader here tonight, and right behind him is the yellow out.
A Randy Yoakum has gone around in turn 1. Up there goes the fuel win strategy. All right, 5th caution.
Yeah, that's just a challenge for real estate. It looked very much like the 3 Brienzi car going in there with the 75 of Stony Benfield underneath, turning down and maybe not aware that Stony was underneath them.
A little bit of a late entry there from Stony too, but
I just look at the turn-in from the 8 car. He had to know he was there. Again, far be it from us, but Stony had a great run into the corner. Yeah, I'm going to flip-flop. That one was Stony charging in there.
Yeah, that's the way racing goes, unfortunately, and more 811 violence, if you will. Nice job by Randy.
As bad as it sounds, he did the right thing there. Just to continue to shove him through and push him around and clear the car. If he'd have locked up the brakes, the two of them would have probably stayed together and slid directly up into the wall.
Outside wall, yeah.
Yeah. So as strange as it sounds, if Stoney kept it planted, he could finish the job, scrub all the speed off for the 8 car spinning, and be able to drive through it. I know you can get through it, Cole. He drove through it.
I'm through it, Harry. I'm through it.
Soundtrack up there.
I'm sure I could pull it up real quick on Spotify or something.
Cheesy 90s music from Faltermeyer. Well, okay, now what? Now what? With 45, everybody is clearly in the pit window. If you have a set of tires...
I don't... Wow, they're coming. Well, some people are coming. I think if you pitted...
That fake situation.
I think if you pitted last caution...
wrecked half the field in my NAS race. So I'm glad to see Josh went in.
I think if you pitted last caution, you have to stay out here and get whatever you can get. And that's what I'm seeing. Van Schaik staying out. Donaldson, Stony Benfield, Kevin DeBrown. How much did that caution help him?
Yeah.
So it looks like...
Right.
Top 6 stay out?
Kevin's car's got a little Kyle Larson to it there, though. If you look at the back of the car, it's really kind of wounded. Got a back shot of the Mustang. The right side is pushed in. The spoiler is up.
Got a little more downforce. So, all right, let's step away for a quick word from our sponsors. You're watching the NC811 Cup Series. Sim500 action here on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
Back we are here at Pocono Raceway, under caution for the 5th time. And I want to go back to the situation real quickly with Kevin DeBrown because, Kevin, you and I were speaking a little bit off the air there for a second during the commercial. And you had a very similar situation to this here. Not like the whole him getting loose everywhere, but the more the inside where he went.
Yeah, if you have a Denny Hamlin style incident where somebody careens off the outside fence, you go down here and try and take a little evasive action. Yeah, you did a little bunny hop down there. That track down there is really rough, and unfortunately for me, yesterday somebody came across and I just T-boned him, killed him. But what a job by Kevin to hold on to that car. I don't know that he really had any control as the car was bouncing porpoising through the bumps down there, but.
And the reason why the bumps were like that is because there's manhole covers down there in real life. So that basically caused his car, so think of it like hitting a bunch of drainage and the car just bouncing. Basically is what it was doing there as we go into the tunnel turn here, about to get the green flag.
But you have to parlay this. That's also the exit for the safety crew to the backstretch over there too, the wreckers and so on. But where's Kevin sitting right now? He's in 17th. He's got a little damage to the back of the car, but that should have basically killed his race, and yet he lives to fight again. So you have to put a footnote and see what he can do with this opportunity.
All right, we're about to go to the green flag here at lap number 46. I don't even know what number it is anymore.
I'm just going to lean forward and go, okay, here we go. Give me some popcorn.
Yeah, pretty much. As we go back green, I think this is a good time. Let's turn it up. And well, EJ goes all the way down to the bottom. Let's turn it up here and just watch for a minute.
My $20 is on the table and they don't make it out of one.
All right, so this has been pretty wild to watch here. I've been just kind of sitting back and watching the wildness. We were, what, 5 wide about a lap or two ago down the front straightaway? But Jose Gonzalez leading, Mike Kelly, Scott Simley, David Comstock, Tyler Dalton up to 5th right now.
Yeah, I like what I see. I love that Tyler Dalton is there. This is a Tyler kind of racetrack. Thinking Man's racetrack, driver's driver, and he's right in that mix there. It makes me really nervous to watch how these guys are coming back and forth. Tyler missed the corner on entry to 1, probably to try and stay off of Comstock. He's going to slide high. That's going to allow the 38 to slip underneath him.
He's going to actually have a good run coming back here off the corner there. But it's funny, I'm watching Gonzalez kind of break the draft. I did not know this until I actually saw this on Twitter. Last week was an anniversary. I think it was Neil Bonnet they brought up. Was running a race at Pocono. It was one of the first races ever ran here. And when he was leading the race, he actually did the snake, where you bring him to the bottom and you kind of weave back and forth. Well, back in the 70s, that was more of a, like,
IndyCar move.
Disrespectful type of racing maneuver. And apparently people criticized him for doing it. Now, of course, we do it, like, everywhere.
Yeah, it was picked up from the Indy 500, and the drivers doing it on the front stretch, trying to break the draft.
Mike
Back
Kelly.
in the Gordon Johncock and such, as we got a battle for the lead here. Comes to 2 underneath. They're side by side. The 26 moves down to try and break some of that momentum. Mike Kelly's got the preferred line in the bottom, but Jose really had a good, strong run to the outside. It's going to be able to carry the speed and cover that position. We have one casualty there in that little runoff as the 93 of Kevin Brown got sideways out of turn 4, and in order to collect it, the car came up, bounced it off of Kevin Stone. Stone pancaked the right side of the wall, and Kevin had to take his car in, and unfortunately, crew's still doing work down there on pit road. So 4 cars thus far, though, only having damage. The rest of them are all still in the mix of this race.
Kelly to the front, passing Jose Gonzalez, and I just had this memory pop into my head. These two have had a little bit of a history, if I remember correctly. So this might be a very interesting battle amongst these two right here.
I say this with all the respect because I've been racing with Mike Kelly for probably 2 decades. He has a little history with everyone. Because he's always there in the front, in the mix. And I mean that in the nicest way. But, when you run as hard as he does and as fast as he does for as long as he does, yeah, you tend to tussle with everybody.
Yikes. Kind of leaning on each other. Simley going to help his teammate there down the front straightaway here. This is great racing now. Well, it's old great racing.
Old teammate, as you pointed out to me last week. But I'm sure they still work together and have good relationship here. Is Kelly able to protect it?
Gonzalez going to fall all the way back to 3rd with the help of the draft there now. Gonzalez going to try to fight back for P2. But I think Simley's just going to kind of tandem up here with Kelly and just kind of push him out. As Comstock has David Pearson his way up to 4th.
This is where this race messes with your head. As a driver, you're looking at it and saying, oh my, we're 55 laps in. This thing's almost over. But it's 2.5 miles at Pocono. And this happens. Yellow's happening. It's a long racetrack. So it's amazing to me how hard they're racing for track position when there's still so many miles to go.
Jeff Ryan, the caution with 25 laps to go. So if there was any kind of fuel window, that thing's gone now. It's track position pretty much now in tires, if you will, as caution comes out, 25 laps to go. Let's see what happens to the 3.
Me. No, you. No, me. I said you. No, me. That's a turn.
Oh, no. Him and Hudson get together.
I said me.
So caution out for the 6th time, but yeah, just some contact there in the middle of the short chute. And caution comes out for the 6th time. So
I
now,
missed what the story is there, but why is 93 off the pace? Kevin DeBrown?
we will have to take a look and see why.
Maybe he went in to get some damage fixed or something. I'm not sure what he's doing back there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Interesting. I don't think the pits were open yet.
No, he went in the pits and got some damage fixed.
Oh,
Changed
there you go.
tire.
So that tells me that nobody is likely pitting here, which kind of, I mean, we're at lap 55 now. Some of these guys, I was going to say, some of these guys 15 laps on tires. I'm coming to pit road.
Rivera pitted, Roth pitted, Kevin DeBrown pitted, and Kevin's car looks a lot better. So it looks like they really have done quite a bit of work on the back end of that car to get it fixed.
Gonzalez, Dalton, Macklin, Montesi, Ryan, Stenzel, Parker, Beasley, O'Rourke, Benfield, a whole lot of, about half the field, if you will, that's still left is on pit road here. And I think this is just to get 4 fuel goods. I like this strategy.
I do too. You know how much handling comes into play. And we saw these drivers when the tire get loose, especially when that left rear gets down to about 80% wear. That's typically when the car starts stepping out up off the corner. And if you really want to make the moves, you got to be able to carve the corner, and fresh tires will help you all day long on that.
So
Kevin
20
Stone gets the
Go ahead.
free pass.
Yeah, that should put him back.
He's 3 laps down, so
Yeah, 2 laps down for. So, hey, there's a chance he could work his way back up here the way these cautions are going, kind of spread out a little bit. Maybe able to steal himself a top 20 or something.
yeah. So you're saying I've got a chance?
You're saying there's a chance. Man, I don't
So
know who to.
Macklin, can he be a spoiler here tonight? He's a sneaky one.
Well, Macklin 15th right now. I'm just looking at you got Kelly, you got Simley, you got Comstock. I mean, Coleman's up there also. Van Schaik's back up to 5th.
Van Schaik got track position again.
Right, and then you look back here at 8th. Here's Pedro. Here's Cal Antonio ran up front earlier. Joe Hudson here in 10th. I mean, there's a lot of good names spread out amongst this field right now. And look back here at 26, Wesley Donaldson, who's been up front all day.
Yeah, Wesley, I don't know how good his car's going to perform. He got pancaked against the outside wall in that incident with Kevin Stone, so he might be sporting a little bit of damage to the right side of that number 91. We talked about it on the outset, Chris. This racetrack provides great racing, and we're seeing it on full display here. The amount of just, pull the belts tight, sit forward one more time, run on the ragged edge. You cannot appreciate how hard it is to go through these corners just completely sideways with cars in front of you, behind you. One of the more complicated decisions you have is coming down this long pond straightaway, and you have a run, and you're trying to decide, well, at the other end of the straightaway is the tunnel turn, one of the most treacherous corners in all of NASCAR. Do you duck out of line and try and carry all the speed you have at the end of that straightaway into that corner? It's a really complicated decision sometimes, and every run has a different flavor to it, so it's a hard thing to do. Do I or don't I take the opportunity?
Yeah, it's
we see it every lap with every run down that corner. Somebody's having that same exchange with themselves. Do I go?
right. I think now though you're at a point where you're going to have to go. I mean, it's one of those you lose 100% of chances you don't take. I think this comes into play here. Update from Donaldson, as Mr. Burrito said on chat. Pit road mistake put him in the back, and then he got a little dinged up, damage fixed, lost all the track position, and then he used his Call of Duty voice saying mistakes were made. Restart, 22 laps to go. Comstock with the push on Kelly. 3 wide, Macklin back there at about 10th. Rinjatina's back there with him.
I find it interesting that he chose the low line for the restart.
Oh, cars scattering.
Oh, yeah.
You think the racing was intense 60 laps ago? Wait till now. Dalton with a late land around goes Van Schaik into the wall with Coleman, with Chad Coleman and others. Oh, and Montesi hit somebody.
Huge hit for Montesi. His car is junk.
Oh my gosh. Joe Hudson with damage. I saw one car get turned sideways, and I think it was Chad Coleman. And then I saw Van Schaik just go straight into the outside wall. And Coleman is running like he is chasing somebody.
Yeah, the 15 came across in a four-wheel slide all the way through and tagged.
Who is Chad looking for? Thank God these guys can't throw helmets, because I would say in advance that they would already probably have thrown it better than Austin Dillon did. Who is Chad looking for? Oh, nobody. I guess he kind of slowed up and lined up. Never mind. Up there.
Could they have given him his position that far back?
I guess so. I don't know. That was interesting. I thought he was. I mean, the way he was driving, I'm like, he's looking for somebody. Man,
I don't know how he wasn't. I mean, maybe they threw the caution out right away.
I'm not sure. Let's see a replay of this.
Usually when the car stops to the point where it drops from race pace, they call a caution.
Bam!
And right here, he's so slow compared to the rest of the field.
Seth
But
Foudy.
He got a little tink here.
You know, he kept it pretty. I mean, other than putting the back end in the wall, he really kept it straight.
Yeah, he had a Chastain moment there. Was driving the wall.
I mean, it looks like so it was contact with him and Van Schaik, unfortunately. Chad's coming to pit road.
He has no choice.
Yeah, it's just contact there.
What happened with Hudson there?
So it looks like Hudson. So you see Seth Foudy there, nowhere to go.
Oh boy!
Oh, that's a lick for the 23 too. And then back there, the 93 Kevin Brown gets into Hudson. I think you can add Stenzel to the list of the outside wall. And the 15 goes around, and then there's Tommy Ryan and Montesi right there. Montesi, nowhere to go, gets clobbered. Oh, no, he's going to hit the inside wall.
Oh, he hits that.
Oh, that's a lick. Holy
boy, that was reminiscent
cow.
of the Watkins Glen crash.
David Ruderman and Reagan.
Yeah, David Ruderman. Yeah, looked just like it. I was thinking that when he hit there. If you go to Pocono and you walk in where the tunnel is, and you're on the turn 3 side of it, you could walk up right there. There's a small platform, and you look out over that.
Look where his hood is.
Yeah, that's
Montesi's hood down here at the bottom of the track. Flying.
Massive.
And of course, we know the biggest lick we maybe have ever seen in turn 2 at Pocono. I would argue is Elliott Sadler's hit.
Elliott, yeah.
We're gonna have a couple onboard cameras here. And the first one, oh man, we're gonna have to go on board with Montesi here. This one's gonna hurt.
That's one of those ones where you really don't like to be in the outside lane because you just have no way to go. But the inside.
This is one of those you don't want the 5 points. This is one of those you don't want the
They're
5
all out there. They're all out there. I'm good. Oh, no.
That's one of those you do not want the 5-point harness where you have it.
The funny side of that is
down there.
That doesn't look as violent, but when you're actually in the sim and you hit, you're driving and then all of a sudden the thing just stops. You get that sensation. You really feel like
even without even without like as we showed us again, even without any kind of a force feedback or a shake or anything like in on my wheels on my desk, like it almost looks like you feel the wreck from hitting. Yeah. So I can only imagine somebody that actually has. Let's go roll this. Oh my gosh, here we go.
we were just talking about the fact that your elbows up, you're leaned in, you're 100% focused on just like fighter pilot kill. And when it comes to an abrupt stop, that leads to that same sensation of, wow, that hurt. You know, you almost have that reaction. That hurt.
Wow.
What a job. Holy cow. That was incredible.
I don't have any audio for it, but I'm going to see. We're going to show this replay again, but I'm going to try to simulate what Mr. Atomic Burrito was probably saying here at...
I just want to know if he had his eyes closed. Did not.
So something like this. All right.
Take the wheel, God. That's what that looks like. You take the wheel. I'm just going to let you drive me through it.
Inside. Let's see. Okay. Wreck it up ahead. Get low. Up, wrecking. High. Up.
Through the middle. Check up.
You're on your own.
All right. It would be cool to have spotter audio.
As the green comes out, by the way, we took the whole caution, by the way, just to show all that. So Kelly, Comstock, Woods, Simley, Mojica, your top 5 as we scatter around again.
They're a little spread out on this caution. Field is spread out. The back markers and others are off the back. They're not as...
Spread out, as they say, 3 and 4 wide for 5th. All right, behind them, yeah, they're spread out.
It wasn't that long ago we were talking about
Coleman,
how long...
Simley gets hit up into the wall.
Oh,
Tommy
no.
Ryan, there they go.
And there they go.
The second big one. This one gets Gonzalez. Oh, Chad Coleman gets hit again. This actually starts with contact with Macklin and Simley.
Tanner Beasley is killed. He's sitting down there on the inside fence. We talked about it. When you have a restart and you go back into that tumble turn, it's the most treacherous one on the track, no doubt.
Bob Gillenwater with damage. He's involved.
Yeah, Simile just got turned. I'm not sure what led to it, but he and Macklin came together and...
I think he was just trying to get into the same territory there. Everybody's trying to get into the tunnel. Tommy Ryan hard and bam, bam, bam.
I think Simile saw the 58 to his outside and wanted to make sure that he turned in. It didn't get to him, and Macklin was to his quarter panel. Maybe he misjudged how far in Brian was.
Let's see this, because I saw it kind of live there. Yeah, Charles, that's a bummer, man. Let's, there he is. Okay, so it's going to happen right to the left here. Let me click on Simley in the 12. Where is Simley? 16th position here. Ah, get off my screen. Say hello to my, well, you're not seeing it, but my security scan has just come up on the screen and now trying to lock up on me. There's one of those Simleys trying to get to the bottom. Macklin's there, just comes into the corner. Just a tough situation there. Simile tries to save.
And it yaws out to a little to the high side. High side.
Oh,
that little,
yeah.
That's weird right there. But look at those three. Boom,
bam, bam,
boom,
bam,
boom.
bam.
Big hit by the 4 car. Not for the meek. Look at his wheel. Right wheel is pointed right. Left wheel is pointed down. Sparks dragging the chassis on the car. Thing is killed. And then he got clobbered one more time there.
Yeah, the person, unfortunately, that is feeling all of this right now, Chad Coleman, has found a way to be involved in both of these.
Yeah, but he's actually driven out of it, hasn't he?
No, he got, well, he might drive away, but not in one piece. Needless to say,
he's going to need a trim beam after this one.
Do we have another Wesley Donaldson angle? That one might have been a little bit easier to get through.
Wow.
All right, man. Wow. This
If
has
I'm like
been...
Kelly, I'm counting my blessings, right? With 6 cautions, and I've been out front of this whole group. I'm out racing these troubles.
Last week, this kind of race, it was like, yikes. This week, we're like, man, this is actually fun.
Well, the funny thing is, you look on pit road, and there's sawzalls out and hammers and
Not so
down
fun.
there, 17, the 22, the 43, the 15, the 42, the 38, 23, the 1, the 99, the 12, and the 26, all working on getting down. Like half the field is down there. Here comes the pace car off turn 4, and every one of them was like, hurry up, hurry up.
So for those wondering, by the way, they have relatives on their screen. And on the relatives, I've always learned myself, if you get down to about 3.5 seconds, and what I mean by that is 3.5 seconds from the pace car to you on pit road, you should be able to get to the exit of pit road before it closes.
It stays up Thunder Night at the racetrack here. Beat the pace car! If you don't beat the pace car, the race is over! That's what just happened there. All those guys came streaking off, and just as the pace car, except for Jose Gonzalez, Charles Van Schaik, a couple of them.
So all this carnage is going on and taking out people in the top 5 in points, and meanwhile, look who's sitting in 4th. Your points leader, Pedro Mojica.
Yeah. Boss Man's running 8th.
Yeah, he's there in that Chesterton car. Richard Beasley says this was fun.
I don't believe that he's had any contact tonight, Boss Man.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Well, I don't wish any ill will, but that's to emphasize his skill and prowess. That's what it is.
I actually joked with him tonight. I say, "Hey, Joey, Pocono tonight, man. You get to get a little ARCA race tonight." He goes, "Yeah, the only problem is I've never made it this far."
Yeah, that Chesterton Mustang looks pretty darn good to me.
It does look good. It's got a little bit of a if you will, a Buc-ee's look with the
Buc-ee's? I don't know what that is.
The gas station.
We don't have those up here. We have Wawas.
Well, go travel somewhere. You'll know what Buc-ee's is really quickly.
Okay.
It's almost like the new truck stop, if you will, of America.
Okay. Nope, never heard of it.
All right, green flag coming out again. 14 laps to go in what has been a wild Pocono race.
They're stacking up there. Calantoni, bang. Talk about Joey.
Maybe it is true. They say that the racing in real life kind of rubs off to the sim racers. 3 wide and 4 wide and a 1.
Oh no!
Oh no! And there goes Joey.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Clean the hood off the car and everything.
Joey Jattina, Tyler Dalton, Stony Menfield.
I just stuck the pin in the voodoo doll. I didn't mean it. Wow.
Anybody hear the reverse sounds coming out?
That was really weird because he was down low, and I think he was just trying to get back up to the racetrack so he could make the corner.
Well, he went down to block the 41 of O'Rourke.
The 41 kind of checked up because he didn't make the corner.
Bam! Oh my gosh.
Wow.
4 811 cars right there.
He almost Horton the thing. He almost went over the fence.
Ah, Jimmy Horton from Talladega, 93. Or
Yeah.
was that Jimmy? No, it was Jimmy
That
Means.
looked like the way a car went up and over.
You're thinking Jimmy Means.
No,
At
Jimmy
Talladega.
Horton.
Didn't Jimmy
Jimmy
Means
Horton.
go over in turn 1 at Talladega?
No, it was Horton.
Oh, okay.
In the active disposal car.
Ah.
When the
So,
first person who gets to you after the crash has a beer, it's not a good thing. That's the famous quote from that crash.
that's good. This is not good.
This is not good. Killed Tyler Dalton, too. His car is just destroyed.
So here's what, this is how this all gets set up. So basically, E.J. O'Rourke is coming in at a terrible angle.
Yeah.
And basically, he's got to pretty much park the bus here in turn 1. Yeah, we'll get one here for you, Derek. and Joey's going to run him over.
Joey's
Bam.
going to hit him. Joey did carry the speed in, but EJ couldn't make the corner at the angle he was coming in.
This is going to be an if chat's not already interesting.
Yeah, the post-race convo will be quite fun.
This is where I show the replay to everybody, let them see what happened, and I'm going to go peek at Discord real quick. Joey's still in chat.
Here comes the 41.
Hey, he parks the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just couldn't make the corner. Joey had no choice but to get on the binders, keep from running him over, and then when he stepped on the brake, the car lost traction and just do right.
And for those who are fans of Stony Benfield, I'm so sorry, but somebody might need to do the sermon Wednesday night.
Wow, this is going to be tough. And up and over.
And the hood came back. I mean, the only thing that car didn't do was go straight Earnhardt and flip. That was, what, 82, I think, when Dale broke his leg?
Yeah. Look reminiscent of the hit that Bubba Wallace took.
Yeah. Bubba, Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader. Remember the old Carrot Top 1-800-CALL ATT car?
Yes.
When they lost brakes?
Oh, yeah, right. Who's Mile 22? Was that the movie? On the side of Bubba's car that day?
Oh, I don't remember that part.
I just remember the star of the movie, Wahlberg.
Oh, Mark or Donnie?
On the car. Mark. When Bubba crashed. We were there for that.
So, 9th caution. Let's take a peek real quickly. Where are we going to be next week?
11 laps to go, which is 10% of the race now. Pretty close.
Huh. Hey, everything's going to be great. We go to Richmond next week.
Cures all ills? Is that what you're saying?
Can we make that a night race, Joe? We might need to get some grip in the track.
Yeah.
Then again, more grip might cause more havoc. I've always said that it seems like the looser the setup, the better the car is for driving.
You know, you typically die the death of 1,000 paper cuts in a race like this where you see onesie, twosie spins or whatever, but tonight the hits have just been atrocious. They've been really big.
Hey, can we not
and
bring
it
up...
goes to show of how tight they're running on top of each other.
Yeah. Can we not bring up Friday, okay? I still feel bad about taking that one guy out. Anyways. I took out somebody just being stupid. Anyways.
Huh. What happened Wednesday night?
I had my best ever, or my worst ever finish for a car with 0 incident points. Finished 24th with no incident points. Anyways, enough about that. Stoney's they're going to ratings. Exactly, Barber. There go my numbers right there. Thank God we don't do a oh gosh, Cume reports or anything like that. All right, 10 laps to go as we go to green. Mike Kelly, David Comstock, Dory Woods, Pedro Mojica, Brian Macklin, and heaven knows what else.
Wait, I just remembered something. That crash from whatever was the day that Pocono ran Saturday and Sunday, 2 races, yeah? Do you remember this?
Might have been when they did the doubleheader a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
All right, we made it through turn 1 as Comstock goes to the lead. Here comes Mojica for second.
I hate to do this, but the 81 is a multi-time winner, and look who sits in the top 5 there, right?
As a matter of fact, we have a 3-way tie right now for the most wins on the season with 3. And it's David Comstock, it's Pedro Mojica, and it's Josh Parker. Those three right now are tied at 3 as Comstock goes full Neil Bonnet front straightaway. On a week where all I read was about Burmese pythons being found in Florida, we have Comstock doing the snake on the front straightaway at Pocono.
He needs a little conga music.
You do not want to see what those snakes are looking like down there right now.
I'm curious to what happened to Mike Kelly on that restart. He just didn't.
I think
Didn't
Mac.
do any support.
Oh, Doy Woods, hold on. Oh my gosh, I just had flashbacks to 92 again. Or 91, sorry. Whatever year it was, Davey went for the ride in the short shoot there. All I saw was the camera and I saw the Texaco hood coming for it. Look at them.
Macklin was able to sneak underneath Pedro.
Yep.
I don't think Pedro saw that coming.
But Pedro had a good run back topside here.
He could use a little help out back. He's got Anthony right behind him, which should help him with a little bit of push going down the straightaway.
That's the way. See, that's the way they should do it because everybody. Oh, and they got somebody in the wall back there. I think it's Stenzel. That's the way they should be doing it because in order for them to get a run on, oh, Kelly got the apron a little bit there in two. He's going to lose momentum. Here comes Macklin. Calantoni got the outside wall.
Wow, this is hairy. I'm telling you, these guys are elbows up here.
The thing about it right now is when Comstock makes this move to break the draft, if those guys stay lined up, they'll just tow their way up there. Comstock's on his own right now. And then you see Macklin and Mojica tandem. Parker just ran the fastest lap of the race in 6th or 5th.
Yeah, Mike Kelly is probably not feeling very loved right now as Pedro pushes Macklin through.
How is EJ working 7th?
He's EJ.
That's fair.
There should be a button. He's EJ.
You saying the little red button like Staples?
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, Pedro sideways into the wall. Oh my gosh.
There goes the points
You need
leader.
to lead that.
Did he break something outside of traction?
And it looks like he's going to recover, but bad 15th by the time he gets around it.
What happened to Pedro? How weird this is going to be to say this, and it's going to be kind of mean. Can this race not end?
Yeah. I don't. Something over in the tunnel turn just didn't work out for him. I think he was on the brakes to keep off the 81, maybe?
Yeah, Parker got the wall and they hooked each other a little bit.
Yeah, yep, that's what it was. Okay.
We stay green.
Parker nicked him, and now he's running 13th, so.
Parker up to 3rd behind Brian Macklin, who might not have a choice but to talk to me tonight. Or you.
There's
Parker.
always some little spring in your step when you're running a hometown racetrack. He said Dover was more of his home track. I think Calantoni better get on board for Pocono because he's running 5th right now.
Yeah, this is one of his better runs he's had outside of a super speedway.
And this racetrack is closer to Giants Stadium, so come on now.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when I believe the drivers go to Pocono, it's usually the week where like they'll do a lot of media in the city.
Yeah.
Parker clips the apron a little bit there. Up the track he goes, almost hits the outside wall.
I'll tell you who's happy to see Calantoni is Mike Kelly. Because now Mike is going to have somebody that could potentially work with him. But Calantoni's turn 3 is not very tidy. Car just really loose, slips up, and unfortunately he didn't stay to the bumper. It was a classy move by Jose to get out of that fold.
As Macklin got it down to a 10th there. I thought he was going to get to his outside here. Comstock might need to just stay in line here because he almost got to his right rear. 4
It
laps.
doesn't happen very, very often, but you could potentially see 3 cars wadded up against the fence over there.
Macklin with a crossover for the lead.
Can he slip up here and slide out him?
Oh, he's not clear. Comstock held on. Here comes Parker 3 wide.
Oh, he's going to tap him. Can he straighten him out?
He did.
Oh, unbelievable save. Incredible save. How did Macklin gather that car up? That was astonishing.
And somehow Comstock comes out at first.
That was like a sprint car going backwards into the corner. That's what that looked like. But at Pocono, that was amazing.
That might be Save of the Year material if we had an award for that. Of course, I got to rewind to it.
Incredible.
I mean, that was shades of the Harvick Logano deal. The difference is Macklin held on.
Yeah. He's reminiscent of Kyle Busch at Daytona or wherever that was.
Yeah, the Bud Shootout.
I mean, even the second wobble and going back up across the track, everybody else would have probably nosed it in, and he somehow ranched the things left.
2 laps to go. So now we got 2 3-time winners, first and second.
Could we have a 4-time winner on the season, or will somebody else break through?
Who knows? Well, they predicted this would be a wild race, and it's definitely lived up to it.
They're taking notes right now because they're coming back here one more time. And they're trying to figure out how the runs are manifesting. Can he get the run up off the corner? He banged off the wall there going in. That's going to allow the 81 of Parker to come up to him. Can he draw alongside on exit?
He got the run. Oh, a block by Comstock. White flag. Here we go.
Wow. I don't know that it's his advantage. But down. No. Wow. There's no way he makes this corner. Incredible.
Parker to the front. Here comes Comstock back. Mike
Parker
Kelly's like, please something.
Exit to that corner. Perfect.
Don't mess up the tunnel. Both of them in the wall there. Oh, Comstock messed up.
Comstock caught the wall trying to get the car to turn in. And that's going to be all she wrote. What a valiant charge for David Comstock tonight, only to fall short. He's going to be disappointed and replay that corner over and over again.
What a race. Josh Parker becomes the first 4-time winner in the Sim500 Cup Series this season on a last lap pass.
And if I'm not mistaken, he led only 1 lap, and it was the most important one. Picked up the win coming off of turn 2 on the final lap.
Mike Kelly finishes 3rd behind Comstock. Calantoni 4th. E.J. O'Rourke gets a top 5. Brian Macklin comes back to 10th after pretty much roasting his rears. Well, for those who like watching the videos on demand in the Captain channel, you got a good one here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there were cautions, but man, there was so much going on. And you know there's a sister track, by the way, to Pocono, right?
Which is?
Indianapolis. Guess where we go in a couple weeks?
Yeah. That is true. If you run good at Pocono, you tend to run well at Indy. It has that same slip feel when you drive through the corner. There's nothing cooler than a patriotic race car.
That is true. Yeah. By the way, where did Parker start? 30th.
Crazy.
All right, let's let the timing and scoring. I think Comstock's trying to pull himself into victory lane. I just caught that out of the top of the camera there. That's funny. Parker wins it over Comstock, Mike Kelly, Anthony Calantoni, EJ O'Rourke. Oh, the points are going to get shaken up a little bit here. I like it. I like a little drama.
Drama. We got ourselves a little bit of drama here. What a race. I'm worn out. I broke a sweat there in them last 15 laps. I'm just sitting here.
I didn't know what was going to happen, and I think I can speak for the fans. We had no clue what was going to happen. I mean, I didn't even want to call Parker to the win, so I knew he had to check a flag. Oh my gosh, let's talk to some people, I guess, here and kind of break this all down. And yeah, we can almost talk to everybody after this race and be like, so what happened?
Yeah, it was eventful for every single driver tonight.
Yeah, it was eventful for, as you mentioned, most people. Mike Kelly had a boring race. Finishes in the third position, man. What in the world? Okay, so here's the part I'm trying to figure out. The simple math here of logic, and here's that word again. That's a word I've learned I can't use much of, but here in the end we use it. So last week in New Hampshire, we had cautions that was a wreck fest, and we were all like, "Oh, that was embarrassing." Tonight we had a wreck fest, so to say, but it ended up maybe being a race of the year.
That was a lot of fun, I'll tell you.
Something don't sound right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, I don't even know what to say about that race. I really didn't expect to have that good of a race. Thought I was going to be a mid-packer. And then that first run, got about halfway through the run, and my car just came alive, man. It was fast, and I drove to the front, and then I slid through my pit stall and lost four spots. I've done that 2 Mondays in a row now. And fought my way back up to the front, and we got that opportunity to just keep it rolling. And I just kept it rolling. I threw the dice, and I didn't really feel like the car was slowing down that much. And I don't know if the mini yellows hurt me or helped me, because it seemed like it let the guys that were a little bit better on those fresher tires get closer to the front. And me and David just didn't have anything for him. And then I think I really felt being out front was going to be good no matter what, but I got snaked on that restart by Pedro and David, and he was a half a car ahead of me there when that yellow came out, and that was the difference. I don't know if I could have held off them guys. Josh and Brian were really fast, or not really fast, but just fast enough to be able to pull up underneath you where you couldn't harass them. So without them wrecking each other, I don't know what would have happened for sure. As far as I probably wouldn't even made it on the podium, but good to be here. Good race, fun. Woo, hot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure everybody in this race is sweating right now, probably, who's been watching. Kevin's even broken his sweat over there. But, I mean, so first thing we've learned here is obviously you want to slide through your pit stall apparently every week because you've got 2 top 5s in a row, or top 3s in a row. The second thing.
Old man problems.
So, like, what you were seeing going on around you with the contact. I mean, you had Brian Macklin all but wreck in turn 3. You had the beginning of the race, you had Pedro going around off of a side draft gone wrong. Just everything seemed to happen, and you were there. And then he wasn't there.
Am I here now? You got
there
me?
You are. Now you are.
Okay, sorry, bad button.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were happening around me, but really, it seemed calm. It seemed like everything was going on away from me. It was always right around me, but I never had to take any evasive action. I never almost hit anybody. So it was just one of those races where it was just kind of yawn. Here we go again, another yellow. But for Pocono, a lot of fun racing, and you can really mix it up. It's still really hard to pass, but you can really harass a guy and make him have to go up into another lane and not, because you could get really loose coming up off 1 or 3.
Right.
And I think that's where my car was really good, my top secret setup, and I could just run right around that bottom.
Matching
And
tires.
even Jose messaged me under one of the yellows and said, "I don't know what you're doing in turn 3, but you're doing it right." So it was just a lot of fun and a good race, even though we had some unfortunate things happen with the leaders. I'm not sure if Macklin's mad at Josh or what. If that was good racing, they were swerving all over the track so much. I can't say who was in the right or who was wrong. I was just hoping maybe they'd wreck again on that last lap and I'd sleaze one out.
What was that word? You're gonna make
Sleaze.
I gotta pull the thesaurus out. Gosh dang it! Where's my phone? How do you spell that? Is that with a T in there? It's silent at the beginning. Anyway, send some shout outs whoever you like to.
Special thanks to NC811 and Trans Service, the sponsors of this Camaro ZL1. It was hooked up. It was on a rail tonight. Wish we could have put it in victory lane, but shout out to the Turn 1 Heroes guys. Scotty led a lot. He looked really good. Got up to the front there and was hoping we were going to be able to maybe dominate the race and run some interference and just maintain that, but that didn't work out. He got ran over, and we were all up front for a while and got ran over, a couple of us, but good race by the Turn 1 Hero guys. Special thanks to Captain Esports and you guys for the broadcast, all the admins at Sim500 and all the other sponsors throughout the week. Come on out. We race 7 nights a week. Thanks to the fans and the smoking hot wife. See you next week.
All right, so I've got a couple things here. One of the words I can't say. This one with the Y at the end. And
It just means kind of dirty.
yeah, well, the one that came closest to your terminology here is looks like there's synonyms for it. The word corruption, bribery, or dishonesty.
Well, that kind of fits,
Right?
winning a race when you shouldn't have. Yeah, sure. Mhm.
I guess that was the closest thing I can come up with. But hey, nice job, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thanks, Chris. See you guys
All right.
later.
Hey, you too. Man, you guys are starting to get my vocabulary here in question. Learning some good words here. Kevin taught me some U word earlier. Now we got sleaze.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah, that one. And second.
Midwest slang,
It's a Minnesota thing, isn't it?
Nebraska.
I keep forgetting that.
It's all the same to you guys.
Not really. I mean, it's just never mind.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. So David Comstock finishes second. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed because I know he probably wanted to be the first 4-time winner on the season, but unfortunately, just things did not work out for him. All right, Mike did leave his channel, but Kev, we'll let you talk to David.
Yeah, I'm over here with David. He's just reflecting on it, and I bet you would like to have turn 2 over again on that last lap.
Man, I'd like to have turn 3 to go, coming to 2, a do-over, because that's what closed Josh back up to me. I've got no expanding of vocabulary for Chris other than expletives, but we can't say that here. But no, I got really loose trying to pick the throttle up. 3 to go, coming to 2, and just doing everything I can to break all that draft because I was in a tire deficit for the guys behind me. So I was able to maintain through the corners decently, but just down the straightaways, of course, being the lead car, you're just punching the hole for everybody behind you, and just doing everything I can to just break the draft and use Jose a little bit, but then even then, like, I didn't get enough of a toe off of him. It closed the guys up behind me, so that was a detriment to myself too. And it was, man, I was afraid one lap I'd mess up and just botch the entry because I was just swerving so much, trying to just keep the draft broken from everybody behind me.
Yeah, we saw your car glance off the wall in turn 3 on that one lap that you were talking about, and also on the backstretch going down the Long Pond Straight on that final lap, and it just wrecked your entry to corner. But when you're racing someone, are you looking in the rearview mirror? And I could see you swinging back and forth there trying to break the draft, but it had to be a challenging race from that standpoint, watching that 81 get closer.
Yeah, I mean, between him and Macklin there toward the end, I was just down the straightaways. I wasn't really looking much out the front. I was looking in the mirror the whole time, except for, you kind of know your whereabouts around the track. We've raced these tracks enough, so when you're getting close to the end of the straightaway, you need to position yourself for the entry to the corner. So, mostly probably 90-95% out the rear view mirror down the straightaways, and then just get yourself positioned and hit your mark on the entry, and make sure you drive it through the corner good, so they don't, continue to get any momentum on you for that next straightaway. That was a really good battle we had between Macklin for a moment. I thought when he sailed it off into turn 2 that he was going to clear me. It was so close. Was able to stick on the outside, and I wish I'd done the same thing with Josh on that white flag lap. He tossed it in. I tried to just kind of keep him guessing into one and just kept moving all over the place and just, bob and weave and hope he'd zig and zag and we'd, have it in the right position to be able to defend it into one. And he got underneath me, and the way he tossed it in, he just carried so much more momentum than I did. And he had new tires than me. So that was probably helping him a bunch to mask what I thought that he just tossed it in the corner and overdrove the center, because I parked it for a moment and just tried to cross underneath them, but I had no grip at all or no momentum like he had off the corner. So going into 2, I was just following him, and I was just saying, okay, if I can maybe tail him and get a good arc into the corner and just set up for 3, because that's my only opportunity at that point.
That's what it looked like,
And
yeah.
And I just fenced myself, just misjudging where I was at. It's so tough when you're tucked up behind somebody to kind of gauge like where you're at to the fence, and I just missed it by like 2 feet.
So is it muscle memory? We see a lot of drivers trying the side draft, and the question is the side draft dead, or did you find that it worked whatsoever here?
It worked. I mean, heck, it got me the lead on a restart. Even at 120, 30 mile an hour, it worked into one. It's super effective, like it's always been on the right-hand side of the car as opposed to the left. It's doable on the left, but it's way more difficult than it is on the left-hand side, because you're judging across your nose and across your door, and if you don't have triple monitors like some of us have, I have triples myself, so I'm able to see over to my right side better than other people that have a single. You can only see as far as your FOV that you have set for your position you have, and just looking forward, I can see out my sides for both my right and left, so I can judge my proximity better majority of the time. And it's tougher on the right side no matter what, because you're kind of guessing, and you're hoping that you don't mess up and get hooked or hook the guy on your outside. So it's doable though on the left hand side, but definitely on the right side is easier.
Last question for you. Can you talk about the term racing in the slip, the car sideways up off the corner, especially turn 4? We saw a lot of drivers on worn tires, left rear, worn out. How treacherous was it to get up off the corner and carry the speed to the straightaway?
I had no problems with turn 4. There was no for turn 4 tonight.
Turn 4.
Good job, Dale Jr.
Turn 3, yeah. I mean, I was slide jobbing myself there a few times. Mainly 3, like you said, it was looser there than anywhere. I mean, you can get loose through 2 if you were, I had a couple moments where I would underdrive it, and if you didn't drive it the right way, it would get loose on the throttle pickup. But definitely 3 more than any of the corners was looser. And I mean, like
especially
I said,
down low, right, on exit.
Yeah, I noticed that if you were to run toward the yellow line, it was actually looser. So I seen some guys just watching how everybody's line was midway through the race. Everybody, when we had the long green flag run, everybody was kind of running one lane off the bottom through 3. So I started doing that, and it snugged it up some. So it seemed like it was a bit line dependent. I still got loose some myself, but just kind of stuck where I was. I mean, I even did it to the last handful of laps trying to defend and keep myself out front. And then I messed up there, 3 to go coming to 2, and I got myself really loose. And I really wish I could have taken that corner back, because that's what really closed Josh back up to me, a lot sooner than what I wanted. Because, I mean, he had newer tires than me, so it was inevitable, but I wanted to try to just hold off as best I can. It's kind of, it's really interesting how racing works, where last year he and I were running 1 and 2, and it was a reversal of roles coming off with what you call turn 4, I call turn 3, and he ran out of fuel off of the corner, and I passed him to the checkered last lap pass last year, and this year he got me on a last lap pass. So it's really cool how that works sometimes with racing. It was good fun. It was, no matter what, it was a blast racing with all these guys.
Well, it's hard to be upset with the top 5, especially second place finish, but I know you'll go back and watch this one, and next year you'll think this place owes you one. Great job, David, in the second place finish. Go ahead and give a shout out to anybody you want, and then we'll turn it over to Josh Parker.
Thanks for reminding me sucking socks again. Appreciate you guys for broadcasting. Thanks for Sim500, all the admins for putting on our leagues. Thanks for NC811.org for sponsoring our series. appreciate everybody, all the teammates at Team Name. We race hard, we battle hard, and I'm just happy to be a part of such an awesome group of guys that we can go and race the crap at each other and come away with good fun and good memories at the end of it. So congrats to Josh on the win, and thanks to Monster Energy.
Yeah, a couple of your teammates had some interesting nights. I'm sure it was rather lively in that channel tonight. As we turn it over to Chris, who's caught up with Josh. Thanks, David, for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
That was David Comstock there. And, of course, the winner tonight, Josh Parker, goes to victory lane here. And Josh, what might be one of the crazier races I've seen in a very long time. Maybe in all the Sim500 races. And I think back to immediately the Vegas playoff race last season was bonkers. And then now this one. I don't know where to start other than, man, talk the last couple laps of that race.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple laps kind of sucked, but yeah. Well, let's start with the beginning because this all would lead up to the last couple of laps.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I was slowing down for everyone else's wrecks this whole race 3 or 4 times. I came to the back, I don't know, 4 or 5 different times, and then I was forced to do different strategy. After one of those, we kept getting a bunch of yellows, so came and got tires, and so had to be aggressive at the end. It was getting brutal, only having a couple laps to be able to pass people, but so all that aggression led to those last couple of laps, but I apologize to Pedro. I mean, I got into the wall in the tunnel turn, and came down and got into his nose, but it is what it is. I mean, I've been on the bend end of that stick a lot more than he thinks. Going into, not even this year, going into last year or the year before that. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's tough. We're tough racing. We're teammates, but like I said, I really wanted to win this race, especially after, how the race went. So, again, I apologize to him, but again, I think if he was on the opposite side, he would probably be running just as hard. So, and then the Macklin thing, it's funny because I took responsibility for the Macklin thing, but apparently he took responsibility on his own Discord, but it was definitely my fault. I kind of went to go side draft, and as he was coming down to the turn is when I was kind of side drafting. So I guess he would think it was his fault, but so other than that, it came down to me and David, and I had four fresh tires. So I mean, it's nothing really David could do. I knew him going left and right was really a mute point. I was just gonna sit there and go straight. My whole plan was to stay to the right side of him. And then he gave me, he made a good block going into one, or a little bit past start finish line, and forced me to go low. And like he said in his interview, I downshifted and sent it in there to hope my 4 tires would last. And I heard him lift off the throttle to park it, and I gassed it just to pray that to avoid some type of run down the long pond. And it ended up working out. So there you go. That's how my race went. How'd your race go?
My race went well. I finished 35th out of 34 drivers. But that was good. Yeah, no, that's a great point you bring up there, though. Pitting at lap 56 was the last time you came to pit road. Of course, David came at 35. But was there any kind of sign, like practice or whatever, that said, hey, man, this might be wild tonight?
I mean, I texted Chad and Beasley this morning at like 6:30 this morning and said I'm winning the race tonight. So I had that mindset that this was going to be wild, knowing that I don't qualify. So put it that way.
That makes sense. Other than texting,
but I wasn't the reason for half the firework. I mean, there was some stupidity going on. I mean, it seems like, listen, I mean, that's a lot of frustration from us trying to get through the pack was because stupidity in a lot of wrecks, and we couldn't really even get a chance to make passes. But there was a bunch of restarts. People are trying to anticipate when they're going. There's a restart zone, right? And if not, if you mess up the restart, you have 2 4-mile straightaways, right, to draft back up to the guy. So a lot of the wrecks that happened on the restart and for stupid reasons. I mean, that one with Joey was ridiculous. So I mean, that was comical, but it's absolutely uncalled for. But You know, it wasn't just him. There was a bunch of different situations like that on restarts that was just kind of like makes you wonder what the hell we're doing out here.
That's fair. I mean, absolutely. There was a lot of carnage tonight, a lot of interesting things. I'm pretty sure that room that we all hang out in here is going to be very active in the next couple minutes, and there might be some laughter and there might be some bilingual language coming
Again,
out.
I'm not. Listen. I caused 2 wrecks that weren't yellows at the end, but the whole middle of this race was uncalled for. It was pretty ridiculous.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, hey, you're the first 4-time winner in the season, so congratulations on that, and send a shout out to whoever you like to.
I'll shout out to Macklin next week. He's probably going to win Richmond. I think the whole team name, their room there is absolutely trash. Richmond were talking during the race under yellow that we all suck there. So, I guess congrats to him. Sorry for wrecking him. Sorry for wrecking Pedro. Good race to David. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Joey, all the admins, team name, Chad, Beasley, you know, the whole 9. Jabang.
Well, there you go. Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Josh Parker going to victory lane tonight. 4th time on the season. What turned out to be a wild one. When it's all said and done, we'll get him and Comstock. They'll go down to that channel where we might spend the next 2 hours. I'm looking over at the clock right now. I still got to eat dinner. But, man, that was...
Yeah.
I don't know how to sum this race up. Outside of, there was some wrecks that were avoidable. Let's you put the series hat on here for a second. Yeah, there was a lot of wildness. There was a lot of racing that there were some wrecks that were avoidable, but I think the way it kind of worked out with the cautions there at about halfway on, it kind of ramped itself up because it got to the point where you had to get what you could get, and I think that created the wildness at the end.
I think it's just a byproduct of the track and the way you race it. How hard it is to make a pass. The restarts didn't help because they were all stacked on top of each other. And, you know, ultimately you have to look back at some of the results, right? Let's not overlook a couple things. Anthony Calantoni finished 4th. Great run for him. EJ O'Rourke, 5th. I have no idea how he did that after what he started with. Wesley Donaldson was against the fence 2 or 3 times. He finished in the top 10. And, you know, it was an entertaining race. I'm sure there's a lot of tempers that go on, but we move on. We go to Richmond next week, and we'll have a blast. And I find it disingenuous that those guys think they don't have a chance, because, of course, somebody from Team Name will be in the mix. Who are you kidding?
That's, I mean, anything's possible when you go to Richmond. So
possible.
3...
I don't take that literal, but that's pretty funny.
3/4 of a mile track, so it should be a fun one there in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So it should be fun. Kevin, appreciate it, man. We will see each other potentially Wednesday. If not, then I will see you next week.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations to Josh Parker winning here at Pocono. We're out next week. It is Richmond for the Cup Series. As for the Grand National Series, I had it in my head last night, and I've lost it. See what happens when you sleep, you forget. I'm clicking on pages real quickly. Atlanta. I should have known that. Atlanta Motor Speedway next week for their final race before the playoffs. That's what's coming up Sim500-wise. And, of course, Wednesday night, the Truck Series, Trans-Service Truck Series. We are at Dover. So looking forward to, it's a fun one. I like Dover, but problem is I've learned that I like tracks here and still end up finishing 20th because these guys are so good. So looking forward to Wednesday night in the Trans-Service Truck Series. So we'll see you then. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. And sometimes can be wild. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.